Hey, 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 welcome to the Psychic Soul Healer channel if you're new, and welcome back if you're old. Now, if you're new to the channel, know that this is a shadow healing channel. So I do look at what's going to happen within your relationship and how your person feels, but we focus more on the shadows, the spiritual blocks, because the spiritual blocks will tell us what the triggers are and the behaviorisms that come from those triggers. And it's those behaviorisms that are blocking your relationship from flourishing. And if you know what you're spiritually blocked in, you can work on it and integrate the spiritual lessons so you can actually quantum jump into the reality that you want to have. Now, does that mean that you get the person that you are here to tap into to find out what they're thinking about? No. However, if you're in a soulmate twin flame connection, if you're in a past life connection, a lot of times you can, because when you change without trying to change the other person, you automatically change the other person without you realizing it. See, soulmate twin flames, any soulmate, whether it's a past life karmic mate, whether it's a twin flame, a soul connection transcends all time and space. The connections through the heart and mind. We don't need to be in the physical form. So you're always tapped into that person because there's unconditional love there. And that's the energy frequency that's familiar. So it's when we get out of balance that spirit is showing you, the divine is showing you, the universe is showing you. It's all the same thing. They're showing you, it's showing you, because it's the same thing, where you are blocking yourself from love. And in order to experience a new reality for yourself, you can't just break up with that person and find someone new, because you bring yourself with you. Just like you can't change jobs and get a new job thinking you're going to get the same outcome if you have a spiritual block around abundance, right? Because we're looking at the money, we're looking at what we get in return. So shadow healing is all about integrating those spiritual blocks. And a lot of times when we integrate them, they turn into spiritual gifts, because we not only get to see a different version of ourselves, but we discover things about ourselves, which inevitably, when you know yourself really well, you're able to attract the people and situations into your life that are best suited for you. Now, anything that you need to know about the channel, you find in the description box. If you resonate with this video and you like, and want to learn shadow healing, do me a favor. Give this video a like, subscribe to the channel. You have to do that anyway if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me. And if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, you're also going to write the word in your comment bar. The word is going to be quantum koans, quantum koans, okay? Quantum koans is all about spiritual law. It's a Buddhist word, all right? So it's all about understanding that you are an energy and you attract the energy that you need for your healing. And understand that there's a psychic language, and that psychic language is really all about signs and synchronicity. It's more about a feeling. It's not logical. Again, it's more, again, the creative mind, which is right-brained. So when we can tap into that energy, that knowing energy, then we're actually in the same energy frequency of the universe. It's a knowing, and that knowing is felt as like a relaxed energy. It's when we're not relaxed that we're going against the energy of the universe, and when we're going against the energy of the universe, we don't get good life experiences. So again, that's what quantum koans means, and we are going to see how that word is tied into your reading. Okay, we're going to leave that turned over because I have a bad way of saying the magic word and then forgetting it by the end of the reading, because the psychic mind is like that. It doesn't hold on to information. That's why if you get a reading from a reader, a lot of times they don't remember pieces of your reading. That we're not meant to be able to remember the reading. Remember, we're just a conduit for spirit to speak. So again, hopefully I won't forget the word quantum goings, but I think I put it back in the deck by accident already, and I'm not going to waste any more time about trying to remember it. Again, the psychic mind tends to not be grounded, right? And so it tends to pull in a lot of energy. So we can see how maybe even that energy ties into your reading, right? Because quantum coins, if I am going against the energy of the universe, it's because I'm up in my head a lot. I'm overthinking. So I'm feeling, before we even pull any cards, that you're in connection with somebody that you are actually not seeing at the moment. Like you have a connection with someone that you're not seeing right now, and they're all up in their head about it. And I think you're a little bit all up in your head about it as well. So that's how we know that there's spiritual blocks. So let's start with looking at the inner child wounds, because whenever there's spiritual blocks, we have to say, where did they come from? Because before we even want to look and see what your person is doing and why they're doing it, we want to understand what the spiritual issue is so that we don't take their behaviorism personally. And if there's a spiritual block that we have and a behaviorism that's automatic, that's sabotaging, we want to know how you can integrate that. Okay, now if I didn't say this, which I didn't, know that energy is fluid, roles could be reversed, flip it, switch it, twist it, just interpret the message as it best resonates for you. And this is going to be a message anyone lands on. And if you stay to the end of the reading, you can get any questions you may have answered. Okay? Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But like I said, I just always like to offer while the channel is new. So now we're going to first start and look at your inner child wounds, your person's inner child wounds. And remember, just interpret the message as it best resonates. Message always goes to the person that needs to hear the message. Okay, first card out is Inner Authority. Inner Authority. And neglect. So inner authority means that someone needed to grow up way before their time. And so, and when I pull neglect, it's because there wasn't any support. So the person that you're connected to could be someone that owns a business now, someone that tends to always think that they're right, someone that has a big ego. Because remember, if a person grew up having to be a parent long before their time, you also had to kind of act confident, right? If you're a kid, you go up to a parent or other adults asking for things that your parent really should be asking for, and you wind up being presented with looks, you get presented with, where's your parents, and it doesn't make you feel good about yourself. And this is the energy that I feel. So your person really had to be like a leader before they even knew who they were. And it's because they were neglected. So to the outside, remember, every spiritual wound that we have, if we heal an aspect by looking at it through a different perception, we could see the gift. So you can see the gift of inner authority, obviously, right? There's someone that had to learn how to trust themselves. However, if they have a spiritual block in a certain area, that's not, and I feel like they do within love. Why? Because again, they're all up in their head, is what I felt. So a person that's up in their head is trying to figure out things. They're not in their heart. They're not in their body. Only in and out do you get divine guidance. Now, I never think that there was any mistake. So 3 cards came flying out. So 3 cards is what we're going to take. So you may have more wounds than your person. Okay, disassociated. Anchor. Discipline. So again, disassociated means detached. So you're someone that has gone through a lot of trauma around your family, because detachment comes from trauma, right? It's the way that the psyche protects if we go through an experience that's traumatizing. And I see anchor here. So anchor There's usually means rooted. Means right, anchored in the ground means rooted. When you put an anchor in the water, it keeps the boat like stable. Well, it's again that you didn't have that either. So you have the same inner child wound that your person has, but for different reasons. One, again, I feel like your parents didn't discipline you. There was no discipline. So when we look at neglect and we look at discipline, right, it's whether we have a super strict parent or we don't have a parent that is guiding us, it becomes the second chakra imbalance. We don't know who we are. We're not comfortable who we are. So you want to know why you're attracting this person before even looking at what your person is doing, why your person's doing it. And the reason why, again, is because this person has come into your life to show you what you need healing within yourself. And so we would have to reparent this. You would need to reparent this to heal, and your person would need to reparent it in order to heal. But right now you're in separation, which is not uncommon because, again, if both people grew up without support, without parents, there's a lot of fear there because they've had to make decisions on their own. And when you're a child and you're making decisions on your own without support, there is anxiety. It's not because that there's a problem. It's just because children shouldn't be trying to make decisions. But that's what happens when there's one parent in the family, when there's an alcoholic family, when there's, again, just that's sometimes how parents raise their children. Sometimes it's not anyone's fault. There was no bad intention. We don't look at intention. We just look at the wound. People tend to get caught up in the story of their wound. That's not why I'm telling you this. I'm telling you this because you want to know the energy that you're dealing with a person. It's just that simple because your karma is based on what you do. So if you don't handle this right, you're not going to get the outcome that you want, especially if this is someone that's important to you. And if you're tuning into this, it's somebody that's important to you because this is all about the person that you are connected to. It's about, again, the mirror of what this person is showing you. Yes, they have those wounds, but again, whether you tune in today to find out about this person and then next week you tune in to find out about someone else, it wouldn't be uncommon for the same type of karmic theme to play out in the next relationship. Because until we heal the spiritual lesson, we keep getting it. In the Bible, it says what we resist persists, that we keep getting it. So this is why we want to know what we're dealing with. So let's see how these inner child wounds played out. We want to first also look at the shadows because inner child wounds also have shadows, so that we really know, so we can integrate a spiritual, like a healing modality, as well as understand why your person is doing what they're doing or why they are going to do what they do. Okay, disrespect, humiliated. Well, if a person tends to have inner authority, but it was built on the ego and not a true sense of self, which is what this shows with your person, because they were a kid and they had to pretend to be in charge and they took that energy into real life. So they tend to act a lot more confident than they are. So if you would have looked at this person, you would think that they have their shit together. You would think that they have it all together. They don't. They're not strong within the inner self because they didn't really create themselves. Creating yourselves is when you are going out and finding yourself and having a love affair with yourself. So then this way you can make the right choices. And this way you're invested in the right things. So you're not overgiving to anyone. Your person tends to act very confident, like they know what they want, and then they don't. And so that would make you feel disrespected. It would make you feel humiliated. And the reason why is because they have one foot in and they have one foot out. It happens if we were not supported in growing up and we don't really know who we are, then we get into a relationship and we tend to be focused on an aspect of that person, whether it's the aspect of what they look like, what we feel they bring to the table, but we're not looking at them as a whole. It's usually something, an aspect within them that we don't have, that we admire that they have, especially if it's a soul connection. This person's coming into your life to teach you, and they're teaching you on a few different levels. One level is they live differently, they think differently, they act differently, they may even look differently, they might have different cultural values. However, like I said, there is like a connection here, but your person showed that they were disrespectful. They had one foot in, they had one foot out, they act like they don't care. And again, they act as if they're very confident, and in that, they overdo it. People, again, that haven't really created who they are, they're trying to emulate what they feel that a person who is confident, what they would act like, and they're overdoing it. And in overdoing it, they're neglecting you and making you feel humiliated, like you're not important. That's helpful because, again, you can focus on the fact of why they're doing it, not exactly what they're doing. And that allows you to not take it personally. Because that could be a real trigger, being disrespected by someone that you have feeling for, someone that you trusted. And this is, again, an energy. If it's a soul relationship, the person feels like home, you would trust them. Apathy and procrastination, like, and this person knows it. So what it is that like you actually feel like they procrastinate in like apologizing. They procrastinate in like you're always the last person. And it's because they have a lot of anxiety around this relationship. So you would not never know that by looking at them because they look overly confident, but they act like they don't really care. And so again, this is a second chakra imbalance. So I want to put these cards back in just for the sake of not those. Well, should I put them there? I'm going to use a different deck. I want to see how it triggered you and how it triggers you. I want to use a different deck to be fair. Because I see like what they did. Gaslighting. I felt out of touch with my reality because everything I knew was being deflected. I woke up and saw the truth. So like you feel like you were gaslighted because again, on one aspect, they're saying that they care about you. They have feelings for you. And you can feel that, but they didn't, they don't give the time. They don't give the energy. They have an issue with commitment. And then for a while, they want to keep you there. The problem with this is that this person has a very low vibration. Whenever a person has a root chakra imbalance, they have a low vibration. Understand that because they're coming from a survival perspective. So my issue is, it's not that they don't have love. They do have love. Again, there's a soul part of self, the spirit part of self, the God part of self. That's the unconditional love part of self. We're just energy. We wouldn't know what that was. So imagine unconditional love. It's the purest love of all. It's the cleanest love. It has no expectations, ownerships. It doesn't see prejudice. It's just, again, that perfect love. So you recognize that in this person. However, they're triggering the shit out of you. And they're triggering you because it's, again, they're making you feel as if you're not worthy. What this person's trying to do is they're trying to make you chase them. They're trying to get you to talk to them because they're not giving you anything. And then what happens is that they don't get anything out of it because you don't react. So then they do other things to trigger you in hopes that you'll get mad because, and this is how we know that they have a low vibration, because they're trying to trigger you to emotionally respond, to get mad, because actually bad attention is better than no attention. And it's mainly because it's like, I want you here, but I don't want to do anything for you. It's like, because mainly I don't trust who I am. mainly because this person has had a lot of bad relationships. So it doesn't have anything to do with you. However, it's a messed up thing. This is why we want to know what the spiritual issues are, because if you're in a relationship with someone like this, they'll have your head going around in circles. Passion. I feel our passion is gone, and many things frustrate me about you. Well, understand, whenever someone is playing with you, toying with you, where you don't trust them, it creates a really bad second chakra imbalance, which was here anyway, because both of you grew up in families that there were no anchor, there was no support, where one person needed to be the authority, the other person felt neglected, and both parties overgave. So understand, second chakra is all about creativity, relationship, passion, finding who you are. Both parties couldn't find who they were, as they were too busy taking care of their family to be able to do that. They both were worried about what was going on at home to really go out and explore. So they didn't really find balance. They don't really feel comfortable within who they are. Now, it doesn't mean that there isn't love, because, or that there isn't a soul connection. That's something totally different. Psychological and spiritual. We have two people on totally different psychological and emotional wavelength, but that are on the same spiritual plane, because there is no separation. Spiritual energy, you're a vibrational resonance, because this person has gifts where you don't, and vice versa, and you both need each other. And so that unconditional love, that soul recognition, is something that people want to experience. They want to experience it because it's like nothing else. However, they don't want to change. This person doesn't want to change. What they wanted to do was manipulate the situation to get you to do everything for them. And so that creates an intimacy problem, because now you don't trust them. And what happens when you have an intimacy issue with trust? Well, you definitely don't want to fool around in the bedroom. The passion's going to be gone, because you're going to be like, I can't trust you. That has overwhelmed me. So now you're starting to make me a little bit sick. You're starting to make me angry. Like I can't seem to get past it. And that's the issue. So I want to just see spiritual awakening. And it's so, I feel like you pulled away from your person because of that. And it is creating a spiritual awakening. Not just because that you pulled away from them, but I feel like there's a lot of things in their life that are changing. Your person was never someone that would chase, was never someone that would lay down their ego. They had such a big ego. So I feel like there's a lot of changes within them. They're taking inventory of the people that are in their life, how they want to live their life, and they're changing on the inside. So it's really good that you're not in their life. I want a new beginning with you, because that was going to say that they want another beginning with you, because there is a connection here. You didn't do anything. They did. You, again, unfortunately, had to relive the karmic theme of feeling neglected and humiliated because of this person. And that was a theme that you grew up in. So it's an old wound. For this person, what they realized is you walked away, that their little game didn't work. You didn't fall for it. So, of course, they want a new beginning, because there was always that spiritual connection there. They also see the way that you live your life, and the fact that you walked away from them, they actually have respect for you. I can almost feel like this person does a lot of things to put people through tests, and you pass their test. But that, again, root chakra imbalance. They don't trust. I get emotional when I think of you. Yeah, because they know that they didn't treat you well, and they also know that you mean something to them. However, when they were in the connection, and you might have not even dated, this might have not even ever gotten off the ground, because this person played so many games. But again, their fear. But see, we see the same energy of not being supported. not being rooted in the body, not liking oneself, not trusting in love are all like energies of around the root chakra when we didn't feel supported. And then your person actually voluntarily, and I will say voluntarily, but it's not really voluntarily, your person was not awake to knowing what they were doing. They are becoming awakened, but they were kept on creating the issue of never really giving, having major intimacy issues by not giving anything, by making other people give. And I just feel like they never came across a person like you that was like, no, I'm not falling for this. And they really thought that you would because they could feel the connection and they had it. So they're like, if I have this connection, I know that you have this connection. So I pretty much know that you're going to do what every other girl does because I get them to do this because normally I don't care. They didn't realize who you were. So that's why they get emotional because they feel foolish. They feel angry. You're a soulmate twin flame when you don't handle things the right way. You're getting all triggered and everything. You feel like a crazy person because you're thinking all different things. So I don't feel that this person is just sad. I feel like they're angry at themselves. I feel like they want to be angry at you. Like, why didn't you show me who you were? Why didn't you tell me? When meanwhile, you were like, I was trying to. They're used to pushing your people. They're used to triggering people. Emotionally unavailable. They're mad that they were emotionally unavailable. And that's really what this taught. They didn't give. And they didn't give because, not because they don't have feelings. They could feel that connection right from the beginning. Again, they have intimacy issues, and an intimacy issue will play out as self-sabotage a lot of times, getting in your own way, overcompensating, or acting like they don't care, acting overly cocky, which is what they did, which is why you were like, peace out. I'm not sticking around for this. Now they're sitting here being like, I didn't want that, but no one's supposed to stay emotionally unavailable. We're down here to learn, and to learn that we're not separate from unconditional love. We wouldn't learn that unless we had a soulmate come into our life that we really cared about, that kind of, unless we fucked them over kind of, and then they left, that there was consequence. And that's what happened here. So that your person's almost like, I, didn't expect this to fall apart. So they're not just angry with themselves and sad, they're embarrassed, they're humiliated. It's again, you're making the ego calm down, which is what a spiritual awakening is, which is why, like they said, they're going through a spiritual awakening. But understand, passion, like I said, a lot of times is what does that, right? When we have passion for someone, we stick around long enough to care. Otherwise, that person can trigger us to be like, I don't give a shit what it is. I don't want to be around you. You make me so mad, so upset, so whatever. So understand. I'm working up the courage to contact you. So they're trying to come back. They want to come back. But that's because you left, like I said, and you're someone of importance. I don't think that this person was a spiritual person. They lived from a certain level of consciousness, which we said because, again, of how they grew up and not having support, having to act like the boss before they're, acting overly confident when they don't really know who they are. So we want to know, what the hell are we supposed to get out of this relationship, and actually what the hidden truths are. Because there's always a spiritual reason of why this person is coming into our life, not just to aggravate us or trigger us or for us to fall in love with, but what was the spiritual meaning? How are we supposed to evolve from this? We need to wait for divine timing. Timing is healing. Our wounds are Time is healing our wounds and creating the perfect conditions for our reunion. So you might need to, again, you're both in separation right now, which soulmate twin flames do a lot. There's separation, they come back. There's separation, this comes back. Because they need to learn what unconditional love is. It's like, after a while, what they see is, I'm not mad anymore, and I'm still thinking about this person. Why is that? I feel like a crazy person. I want to be still mad at them. So understand the time apart when is how people realize that they don't have any control over unconditional love. And this is what your person is realizing. They were trying to strategize this whole time and get you to do, what was going to work best for them because they don't feel confident in themselves. But they don't want you to know that. So they're not going to let you that close. But meanwhile, it's being in separation and be like, I'm not going to do this. It's also teaching you patience because this person's moving now slow. And that's what it said. They're like, I'm on my way back. I am, but I'm like embarrassed. I'm mortified, but I'm on my way back. So, and that is part of when the ego comes down. It's not an easy thing. That's why they say the bigger they are, the harder they fall. I've hurt you and I'm sorry. I hope you can forgive me someday and understand I was reacting in fear. So this is, again, what I was saying before, that the issue is, and this is why we want to know what the inner child wounds are, so that we'd be like, okay, you acted like this whole thing was me when it was you. So we want to see what their hidden truths are now. What are the inner truths? What are the inner truths? I wish I could share my good news with you. So I feel like they are making changes in their life. I wish I could take back my words. They're in full regret, like I said. I can't stop thinking about you. That's the passion. Like I said, that whenever there's a soul connection, there has to be a lot of passion there in order for the person to look at themselves, really, to look at their wounds. People tend to not volunteer to do that. And they also don't volunteer to heal because healing doesn't feel good. But if we have a soulmate that is different and is requiring us to become different, it becomes easier because we're focusing on what we want and not what we don't want. It's the same thing with abundance. So it's, again, the spiritual connection is that it's one that is going to unfold within divine timing, and it's going to require patience, which is also healing. With most people that have a root chakra imbalance are definitely not patient. They don't know how to go with the flow. They tend to get up in their mind too much and think about how things are instead of allowing things to unfold. And that is what we see with your person throughout this story, from the beginning, from when you met them through all of it. And why you had to experience it is because this is the same type of experience that you grew up in, where you didn't feel like you got enough. So how would you heal that wound? You wouldn't be able to. When meanwhile, all through this reading, we could see that they want you. I can't stop thinking about you. I'm in regret. I'm in regret. That's what I see from that. I love you. So those are their hidden truths. So let's see whether or not it'll say whether or not they're going to return, and then how you should deal with it. Because this is a collective reading, some of you will be with this person, some of you won't be with this person, but it was mainly for you to see where this person, what this person feels about you, why they've acted the way that they've acted towards you. We can see a little bit of what they did, but we wanted to know why they've done what they've done. And what they wound is a lot different than what their true belief is. And that's when there's a psychological reversal. A psychological reversal is when a person does exactly the opposite thing of what they would need to do to manifest what they want. They keep getting in their own way. And it's because they don't trust. And that is the second chakra. A lot of times when people have that really bad second chakra imbalance, it's because their first chakra, they really grew up in not this, in an environment that didn't make them feel safe. And that could be even just emotionally safe. What didn't feel comfortable to be yourself. In this instance, your person felt like they needed to be the leader. You needed to be again, didn't need to be the leader, but you were just kind of neglected. You didn't get support. You both didn't get support. So again, let's see if they're going to do anything, and then how you can handle it, because that's really what it's about. I know it's hard, but please be patient with me. I'm working to clear the path for us. So they're trying to figure out a way to work it out. And that's pretty much what they're doing right now. They're trying to. And I told you that root chakra, you're going to definitely get tested with patience here, because when we have a root chakra imbalance, we definitely have a very bad second chakra imbalance. And that second chakra imbalance is who we perceive we are. It's the emotional center. It's being able to go with the flow. We can't tend to go with the flow if we're full of our own emotional energy. We tend to block out, and get in our own way instead. However, your person has gotten to the point where they're like, I still have feelings for you. Even after I've humiliated myself, I've treated you bad, I've done a lot of things wrong here, I still have feelings for you. And in that, I'm handing it over to God, handing it over to the universe. So I plan on coming back. I plan on fixing it. I don't exactly know what that looks like, is how I would take this. The meaning they're working on it, but do they actually have a clear path? They're working on clearing a path, and that means it's a process. So it's going to require you to take some patience. Now we're going to ask what the universe tells us. I mean, how are we supposed to deal with the universe? How are we supposed to deal with the universe? How are we supposed to deal with this situation? What would the universe tell us to do? All right, let's see. My energy creates my reality. What I focus on is what I will manifest. So obviously, for those of you that want to be in this connection, it's again being patient. It's not focusing on all the things that this person did wrong. It's not focusing on how fast this person comes back and gets it. Because remember, unconditional love, there is no ownership, there is no expectation. You're learning what unconditional love is. And while your person is trying to figure out how to do this, you need to be giving yourself unconditional love. It means that you need to be creating the support for yourself to reparent yourself in this situation, because you never had an anchor. You didn't feel supported. You have to create support, and support is not just your financial support, but your emotional support. So then this way, when this person finally comes back and figures out how, because they don't know when or how, they just know that they will. And for those of you that want to pursue this relationship, now mind you, a lot of you won't, and this won't be your reading. So for the ones that do, then it's going to require you to be patient, to focus on what you want, not on what you don't want, not on what has happened, not on why this person didn't act the way you believe that they should have acted, which is difficult, because people that have a root chakra imbalance tend to be very set in their own ways. They tend to be very narrow-minded, which is part of their fear. Right? Again, why do we have the energy that we have? We have the energy that we have. It's dependent on the thoughts that we think, the emotions that we have. So if I'm focused on what I'm afraid of, then I'm never going to manifest what I want. So it might sound easy to do, but it's not when you're in a relationship and you have wounds, and when you've already felt humiliated, abandoned, not important, neglected. Those are deep wounds. So there will be an emotional trigger, and that emotional trigger is anger, because when we have a root chakra imbalance, we hold the energy and the emotion of anger in there. And if you don't heal that over time, you definitely get sick. It affects that second chakra with the adrenals, and it affects just our body in general, because the root chakra is really not just our connection to the physical world, but all major structures of the physical body. So when we're emotionally off, we physically get off. We physically get off. Listen to me. We physically get, we're physically sick. We physically become imbalanced, is what I'm trying to say. And one more from the universe. Just, which is good, to keep the reality, but can you give us something else? Sometimes it's not as easy to do that. So keeping your focus on stuff that you want means that you need to be interactive in things that you want to do that bring you happiness. That's an easy way. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to fight that energy. We fight passion with passion. We can't fight passion with being angry and forceful. You want to, again, hold that vibration of unconditional love, which means you need to do it for yourself. And you needed to do it for yourself in childhood. That's why you're getting this situation. That's how you reparent the situation. That's how you heal the situation. Because this person feels the connection, wants the connection. By you not budging, by you again saying, this is the way that it's going to be, what they see is they can't manipulate love, that they can't persuade it, that they have to come in correct, otherwise they lose you. You need to focus on what you want if you want this person, and that means focus on things that are going to make you happy until this person can figure it out, find their process, I should say. Goodness, I overcome my imperfections, polish my character, and feed on positive. Thus, I free myself, allow my goodness to manifest and become a source to enjoy. Through gentleness, I offer unconditional support, understanding, and love to myself and others. So, again, this is, again, cementing in exactly what I just said about overcoming your imperfections. And an imperfection is like getting angry over someone else's process. Now, know if you have a root chakra imbalance, most likely you were yelled at over your process, that you shouldn't have thought a certain way, be a certain way, look a certain way. So you're getting put back in the same type of situation, though it's triggering for you because you have a wound in abandonment. So what it says here is feed on the positive. Thus, I free myself, allow my goodness to manifest and become a source of joy. So how do you manifest your goodness? Through your talents, through your hobbies, through your passions, through your interests, through connecting to others, through a heart-based consciousness. That's how. Again, like-minded people, you become a magnet for who and what you want by embodying those energies. And through that is how you can be gentle in situations that are triggering. Otherwise, a situation like this can be like, you took too long to come back and I don't like the way. And you weren't, you because you were scared. It's like you hurt me, and get caught up in what they did and how they reacted, instead of, at the end of the day, it's all about unconditional love. So you can't judge the process, because I offer unconditional support, understanding. So again, understanding whatever a person's going through, you have to put yourself in their shoes. So that might mean that they're not as evolved. They might have had a lot of bad relationships. They might not be as emotionally intelligent as you. So you're being asked to have patience and compassion, which are again high vibrational character traits, which again transmute the energy of fear. And that's why understanding love to myself and others. So you're continuously giving to yourself. And that's how you can focus on the reality that you want and not the reality that you don't want. And that is actually how you stay in the alignment with the energy of the universe, right? How you can go with the flow of the universe is to become the energy of unconditional love by doing what you love and not focus on what your person's process is. Because if you're to look at their process and judge how they're doing everything and how fast, you're going to get triggered and you're going to take it personally, even though you know that this person has wounds and you have been divinely connected to this person to help them. However, it's karmic because you have the power to fall back into, old your wound, to react to that wound in a negative way. And that would keep you in a karmic cycle of feeling like you can't be loved, that you don't get support, when meanwhile, what you're being asked is you need to give the support in order to get that support. Even though this person might have not come in correct, you're asking for forgiveness. Just the same, you might have problems where you're not, never forgave your parents for not giving you that support. So themes, karmic themes, keep coming up in your life where you're being asked to forgive for people not treating you right, not respecting you, not valuing you enough. But it's not because they don't. It's because they're caught up in their own trauma, is what this story was about. So if you resonated with this, let me know. Again, leave me a like, comment Quantum Cohen's in your comment bar. I remembered it. Usually I don't. And subscribe to the channel. This way, if you wrote the word Quantum Cohen's in the comment bar, you'll know if I chose you, if you get the notification that I wrote the word winner underneath your comment. If I did, we'll just correspond back and forth on YouTube to figure the best day and time that I could do a free reading for you. All right. And until next time, be true to you. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.